Toast. What do you have for us?
What?
Yes, you are
Hello.
The
up.
series, sir.
Yeah. You like House? I like House.
Ew.
Ah, yes.
That's it.
Did you know what?
I mean, to be fair to him, I have also kept up with the mecha and kind of.
And toast.
What? Oh, all right.
So we like
You like
House.
House? You like House?
Yes.
What if House was a girl?
That's a good enough intro, actually. To be fair,
A short,
that's a
a
pretty.
short, a short stack. 27-year-old girl that they call the kid doctor because she's
Mhm.
short. I guess that's her quirk. Also, she's really
Yeah,
smart,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
she lives on a brick cottage on top of a hospital. Isn't that quirky?
Yeah, a little bit.
So
How does
this
she get
is.
her plumbing and whatnot? She lives there.
It's
I
like a
believe.
castle where it's just a hole through the ceiling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those Game of Thrones kind of. This toilet with holes, just like Roman plumbing.
Yeah, just all the way to the
But yeah,
ground.
yeah. But I believe this is called Ameku MD, Doctor Detective, also known as Ameku Takao no Suiri Karute.
You know what a
So
carte
yeah,
is?
records, isn't it like
It's
records or
it's a
like a
patient
kind of
it's a patient's
clinical chart?
medical chart. Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Okay. So she's a detective carte. Get it? Because because House was also a medical drama slash detective series. That's what
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
is.
Is this like apparently this is an actual novel, full-on
Yeah.
novel, and this something like a similar to a Horizon or like a Kotenbu slash Hyoka series. This is full-on, fully developed novel here, and it got adapted into manga and obviously now later this anime. So
Spire, you want to read the synopsis? I'll allow you to read the synopsis. Go ahead.
sure. Nestled away on the rooftop of Tenikai General Hospital is the unconventional Department of Investigative Pathology,
Oh, you know
headed
who
by
else
the
is also in investigative pathology?
Mr.
That's right, it's
Dr.
House.
Meg.
House.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Did, K- Toast, do you know anything about whether did the author ever have an interview where he specifically said he took inspiration from it or anything? Have you seen anything online about that?
I mean, House is the first Doctor slash thing, so kind of obvious. I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen it. I haven't seen it online, but I've heard people directly say that they did, and that is also one of the reasons why the abbreviated title is just Ameku MD because it was
Oh,
just
okay,
House
okay, yeah.
MD.
Haha, yeah.
Because I know obviously everybody would refer to it, but I kind of almost wanted to
Yeah, I
hear
mean,
it from
there's
the
also
author's mouth.
there's like no way that this author was like, oh, I don't know anything about House, and being like, yeah, she's the director of investigative like pathology. It's like, okay, like
That's
that's
true.
literally just House. Like,
Yeah. It's like I never read Sherlock Holmes, but it's like this is a random girl in England, in London, and she's like a detective, and she likes to run around and make deductions a lot.
yeah, I mean,
It's
it'd be
If
like,
very
you're
much,
yeah,
it'd
okay,
be
bro.
very akin to, when early on when like Swery was like, I have never seen Twin Peaks. I don't know what you're talking about.
if you're talking about
Yeah.
the author is Chinen Mikito, and apparently this person is a Japanese physician and a novelist who also
Okay.
wrote Murder in the Glass Tower and the Grim Reaper and Angel's Waltz. Is that Origano Tenchi? Was that it? I
I
think it was, right?
forget actually, but yeah, wow. This person is a
No,
practicing doctor too. Jesus Christ.
I'm thinking of a different series. Was that the one that was the one that was what's it called? What is that program called where all the RPG Maker? Is that the one? No.
What?
What was that one series where it was about some chick being chased by a serial killer and they were like in a house? and they had to escape together. An
Oh,
unlikely
I
pair.
think what you're talking about. I don't know the series you're talking about, but I believe that was made in RPG Maker. Because I remember
Yeah,
us
no, it's
going
something
over
else.
that.
But yeah, this person has written quite a few murder
Yeah, it's
mysteries.
not
So
just this. He's had written multiple works, which is surprising because again, this guy is a practicing doctor. He's not exactly some neat, you know what I mean? So very
yeah.
surprising,
So
very
continue
impressive, obviously.
with the synopsis.
Yes, sorry. Um, so there is this Department of Investigative Pathology headed by the eccentric Dr. Takao Ameku. The tiny department, consisting of Takao and her sole resident, Takanashi Kotori, Takanashi Yu, also known as Kotori, treats complex cases that most other departments within the hospital cannot resolve on their own. The mystery obsessed Takao always tries to insert herself into cases that capture her fancy, much to the dismay of her colleagues and the police. Even if her medley creates more problems for the hospital and those around her, none can deny the brilliance that the young department head exhibits as she weaves a diagnosis together. No matter the specialty, no case is impossible for Takao and, as well as a somewhat reluctant Takanashi, to solve.
Is 27
So,
young?
27?
I
I
would
guess
not consider
for a
27
doctor,
young.
it's
Yeah, no, it's old. It's old as
it
hell,
is
man.
Hell yeah.
yeah, it's
Maybe
over.
maybe
It's
she
like
was
me,
20.
decrepit.
But yeah.
So,
So there's 9 episodes,
uh-huh.
and basically it's kind of like it's both a murder well, some of the cases are murder mysteries, but it's mostly there's a case presented and they're trying to figure out what's the cause of the ailments or whatever, and then they have to call upon Dr. Takao to fix it.
Mhm.
And
Can I ask how many mysteries? Obviously, you've watched the
yeah,
episode. How
there's
many
all of it.
mysteries?
There's one in episode one, or
Okay.
was it one and two? Two. There's one in
Okay.
episode one and two.
Uh-huh.
Let me see. Let me look at the thumbnails. Okay. What was it? 3, 4, 5, and I think 6. Or no. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, 1 and 2 are one mystery, one murder mystery. 2 is
Mhm.
just like a supernatural mystery. Or 1 and 2.
Supernatural.
3 is a supernatural
Three,
mystery.
well, I mean, it doesn't end up being
Yes, it
supernatural.
is.
It's
You
like,
know it is. 4, 5, and 6 are like this. Are the most interesting, and it's this continued front about. It's also a murder slash supernatural mystery,
Uh-huh.
and then 7 is just a regular mystery, medical mystery, and then 8 and 9 is supposed to be supernatural mystery, but it's really not. So
Hmm.
what is that? One, two, three. So like five-ish mysteries, but
Okay.
the ones in episodes 4, 5, and 6 is just like this interconnected, long arching mystery. So it's the most interesting of the bunch with
Right.
multiple twists
So
and
it's like
turns. But yeah,
it's like a bunch of smaller, I don't want to say mini arc necessarily, but it's like one, two, I guess they are mini arcs, but it's like there are smaller kind of individual mysteries chucked in there too.
yeah.
So, pretty good balance. Okay.
So the way the episode goes is, oh hey, we have this mystery ailment, and then Dr. Takao comes in. She's like, let me read the patient's charts, and looks around the room,
Hmm.
and then she goes back to her cottage. Then she analyzes the reports, and she does I mean, remember the Bone Zone?
Oh,
yes,
I
Sakura-san?
love the
yeah.
Bone Zone,
Sakura-san?
but it's
Hmm.
not really a bone zone. It's more of a brain blast, the kind of thing
So
with
this
the
is more of a
neurons and
detective series,
synapses
not a mystery
firing
series. Yeah. It's like
and
Dosek,
all this
the
stuff.
mixed crystals of chaos. Yeah.
And then she's like in a bubble. She's naked in a bubble, I guess, doing her big think
Uh-huh.
instead of a brain. And she's like, "Oh, I've solved the mystery. Then she solves the mystery.
Right,
And
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to. I mean, I'll get this out of the way. Most of the mysteries here are not very good.
Oh.
They're not very
Well,
good,
I
as
think
in
what as in what? Yeah, that's a bad word.
it might be, or Dark. You've seen the series, right?
I've seen a decent amount. I'm not caught up, but
What episodes did you get up to?
I think I watched up to episode 5.
Oh, so yeah, so you got to the interesting part, with the mysterious curse,
Yeah.
not the phone one, the other one. Yeah. How easy was it for you to figure out the ailments? Like what's
Oh, I
causing
mean,
this?
yeah, like it's not yeah, that is the thing. Yeah, it's not particularly hard. Like outside of the
It's
first 2 episodes, like where it was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like especially, I mean, like
I
episode
mean, for
3, like the
episode 1 and 2,
phone one was also like really easy. Like it was
yeah, the
really
phone one was easy.
obvious.
But I want to say episode 1 and 2, unless you have I mean,
You
do you
have to have
have,
like deeper medical knowledge to do that.
or
Like
not deeper? You have to have knowledge of the of aquarium stuff, and I have an aquarium, so I was like, oh, I figured that out really easily.
yeah,
So
you could have, well, yeah, you could have either or really, because like what was it?
yeah,
It was Dr. Mike. Like let's put it this way. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like there is a mystery of like this guy has blue blood.
yeah,
Like the murder victim has blue blood, and like Dr. Mike got it immediately because he was like, "What's the thing that would turn your blood blue?" But it's like
it's
I don't know what the
crabs,
fuck
my
that
dude.
is.
It's crabs, horseshoe crabs.
It's true,
But yeah,
actually, kind of.
Can I ask something just real quick? I know that there are individual mystery arcs, but this does also happen with a lot of other mystery series. Is there an overarching sort of foreshadowing overall arc slash plot that's kind of creeping up on the main girl, the main character, or no? Or is it literally just these individual mysteries?
no, I want to say there was a, what's the term for this? Is it Chekhov's gun? I guess, yeah. There's a
Mm.
Chekhov's gun in episode 2, I believe, where it's like, oh, when she's doing her clinic work with this one thing, it's like, oh, she solves it really quick, but then that character reappears later on in a later episode. I guess that was
Oh,
interesting,
okay. I see what you're
but
saying.
again, it was just like it's kind of like when House does his clinic visits. You know, this chick, this chick comes in speaking Chinese, and she's like, oh, I need to buy these pills because I'm sick. And she's like, oh, okay, here's the pills. And then they later comes back, it's like, oh, I'm not, these pills didn't work. And it's like, oh, okay, because this is your real problem. But I
Mhm.
mean, that happens in the same episode of House, kind of a way. Like, you know, he does a clinic visit with this one patient multiple times because it's like a B plot. So there is a B plot. There was a B plot between episode 2 and episode 7, but
Mhm.
so far that's the only overall like arcing thing. The only true mini arc I would say is the ones that is in episode 4, 5, and 6, which again is like the most intriguing mystery of the series. Like there's this curse, like, oh, you visit this grave with who's the famous omyoji in Japan? Uh
Uh,
Abe no Seme. There's this dude related to
oh
Abe no
yeah.
Seme,
I'm gonna say it. Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, everyone who's visited this person related to that Abe no Seme gets cursed and die. And it's
Oh,
like, it, maybe it's because I've read too much manga or whatever, or I watch too many detective shows. But the moment they show the curse and they're like, oh, let's go to the grave, I immediately figured out, like, oh, this is the reason why people are dying. But
why?
then
What was it?
I'm not gonna tell. Hell
Oh,
no.
okay. Sorry. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
it's
That is
somewhat
hilarious.
Dark, isn't it? Somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
No,
is
I mean, like,
hilarious though. Yes, I apologize.
going through the ropes, like, even if you figure it out, like, going through it is still fun. Like,
Mm,
it's still a
But yeah,
fun time.
there's that, but it's only one part of the mystery because then another mystery appears,
mm,
and it's like, oh, I did not expect that twist, and then it leads to another, like a third mystery. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. So those three interconnecting mysteries is probably the most interesting part of this series. But then the rest are they're piss easy to figure out. Maybe it's because I adore crime/mystery dramas like CSI and House that it's super easy to figure out. Also, might be because I have experience in this field, but
mm,
but that might detract the reason why what makes it might detract the air of mystique around this series for me. But
mm.
overall, I mean, series is it's okay, I guess. Yeah,
What do you? So I think your main when you're saying it's like okay, the points that
it's
you
too well,
maybe
it's
detect
too
from it's too
easy.
simple. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's too easy
It's
for someone like me to figure out. It might be harder for someone
uh-huh.
else, and that might be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a more of a aha moment and makes it more
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Mhm,
Well, it's just yeah, but so I mean that's just on me. So
mhm.
I
But
don't
I
think
mean,
I should
I
judge it
can
too
get why
harshly on
you would
that.
think that way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can get why you would think that way though. Yeah.
It's no
Okay.
Detective Conan, that's for sure. Or no
Hmm.
Sakuraku-san. Sakuraku-san was pretty interesting too with
Yeah.
bows.
There are some series again. This is part of sometimes why I kind of try to split series again between mystery series and detective series because there are a lot of series where it's either the mystery is too easy or it's just not really it's opaque as in most of the mystery is kind of just black box hidden inside a black box and a lot of the series is kind of based around the detective being like oh I'm very smart or whatever and then there are other series where it's a lot more again focused on mystery as you said something
What's a
like the
nice way to
Conan.
put it? It's idiot savant. Is that the thing?
Oh
I
yeah, the you
sure.
mean like the genius? Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
So I
but
mean,
yeah.
I guess I'll go over the characters.
Mhm.
The titular Ameku Takao. She's voiced by Ayane Sakura.
Mhm.
She's quirky, abrasive. She's an idiot savant. She lives on the brick cottage on top of the hospital filled with books. She's always reading. Genius doctor. She's short. That's cool. And then I guess her sidekick is Takanashi Yu. She calls him Kotori because the way his name's written, Takanashi, I guess has to do with
Yep.
bird Taka, whatever. He's
So if
voiced by
yeah,
Kensho Ono,
yeah,
and I don't know who that is, but I know he's the pizza guy. Right near,
he's a prolific voice actor.
right near.
Huh?
Kensho Ono's the pizza guy, right?
Um, pizza guy. What are you?
He loves his marguerite pizza. He lives in Italy and he is a gang star.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's Giorno Giovanni, aka the Golden Wind himself. Is it Golden Wind? The Gold
Yeah,
Experience?
Golden Wind. It's Venta
Yeah.
de Oro. Yeah,
Yeah. He's a straight man, kind of a way.
yeah.
Is
He's
he?
essentially the Watson. He's the Watson to Ameku's Holmes.
No, he's the Wilson to Ameku's house. Get it right,
Yeah, that's
Spire.
true. I apologize. I apologize. You got me
Yeah,
there.
we're
That is
He's a
layers
straight.
deeper now, Spire. Okay.
He's a
Yeah.
straight
I
man.
fucked up.
He's also, I guess, the muscle when it comes
Mhm.
down to it,
That's
because
true. Yeah.
Ameku's a short. When there's a danger afoot, he's a trained fighter, so it's like, oh, I'll take care of this.
Yeah.
There's that one time where he fought.
Instead of having a fucking busted leg and being addicted to pills, she's just tiny.
Mhm.
But yeah, he's there to. He's her assistant. He does stuff. He is the Wilson to the house. Then there's who else? Uh, I mean, I guess there's
Most of the other
was
cast is just generally like people kind of surrounding them, helping out in the
There's
general hospital, right?
there's a Takao's older sister, Masaru Ameku, who's voiced by Mizuki Nana. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, some random person. Yes.
Yeah, and then
Newcomer of the
there's
year, probably, to be honest.
Ameku Owashi, which is Takao's uncle, and I believe the head of the hospital he works at,
Mhm.
who's voiced by Fumihiko Tachiki, who voices Kenpachi. That's cool. Yeah, I remember that voice. Yeah. There's some there's some tension between Takao and her uncle, because she's quirky and she's not exactly a standard doctor or whatever. And she's like, "Oh, Takao, if you get in trouble one more time, we'll have to dismantle your apartment." And she's like, "Haha, uncle, I solved the case and we're not getting sued. You can't dismantle my apartment." And he's like, "Damn you, Takao." What's that chick's name from House? Uh,
There were several.
Cuddy. She's like the Cuddy, I guess.
So a lot of these kind of structures are similar, right? Because obviously, House had similar structures as well, but it's stuff again. It's the
Uh,
Holmes character, the Watson character, the Scotland Yard kind of characters. So a lot of
yeah,
these
no,
are pretty
there
much
there's
the same
some
stuff.
there's some police guys that show up. I don't remember the names,
Mm.
but one of them, the one of them is voiced by what's that guy's name? What's Arch who's Archer's voice actor?
Uh,
Um,
Junichi Suabe? Isn't it
Yeah,
Junichi Suabe?
yeah.
there's a detective guy that Takao hangs out with. He's not like the hard-boiled detective, but the partner of the hard-boiled detective. That's voiced by Junichi Suabe. He's like, "Oh, Takao, I'm begrudgingly working with you, unlike my hard-boiled senior here, who's like, okay, Takao, I need your help with this." That's voiced by Junichi Suabe, and then
Nice.
there's another character who's voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro. So there's a lot of big names on this series. Where
Yeah.
like she used to work in or no this person at Junko Sumida, who's voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro. She used to work with Takao in like the psychiatry department, and she was like, "Oh, Takao, what have you gotten me into this time?" It's like, you know, I never liked you because you're too smart for your own good and whatnot. So everyone's kind of got a chip on the shoulder with Takao, kind of like how everyone has a chip on the shoulder with House
Yeah,
in a
it's
way.
kind of like a very standard thing or standard trope with the
Yeah, the genius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Uh,
it's got chip on the shoulder, but they always begrudgingly work together.
yeah.
I want to say you mentioned like the structure to a House episode is kind of the same. It's really not, because
Okay.
there's when House does when in a House episode he has a whole team to bounce off of,
Mm-hmm.
like his to do his differential diagnosis, and a lot of the times House is wrong multiple times. Throughout the episode, it's like, oh, we got to do this thing, and then they're like, oh, it's this thing
Not
doesn't
working.
work. We got
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
this other thing, and like, oh, we got to do this, and it's like that didn't work either, and we got to do this other thing that nearly kills the patient. And they're like,
yeah.
oh no, Doctor House, the patient is nearly dead, and then House talks to someone, usually Wilson or something else, and then he gets his eureka moment, and is like, oh, this thing is actually this, and then they
Mhm.
solve the problem with Ameku Takao MD. It's usually one and done. It's like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
this
I
one
see what
thing.
you mean.
It's like, oh, it's this
It's like
one
it has
thing.
she has that one clear moment and it's like everything's done.
Yeah, she looks at the one thing and she does her diagnosis. She looks at the thing and then she holds up in her study, looking over the reports. Then she does her brain blast. And it's like, oh, Kotori, I've solved this case. And I'm like, oh, okay, kind of
So
weird.
can I ask something? Just this may seem like a weird question, but what is sort of how is the screen time balanced in terms of the mystery? Is most of the screen time in terms of collecting the evidence, or is it mostly just like dialogues that are connected that kind of flesh out the lore of the mystery, or is most of the time spent on Takao holding up and thinking like about what the solution might be?
That's
What's how
usually the
is
apex of the episode where they're going
Mhm.
around, they're gathering evidence. They see this thing and like, oh, that's interesting. And then near the end is when she figures it out.
Oh, but it's
So
the figuring out doesn't take too much time
yeah, it doesn't.
on in the episode. Okay. I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
Uh,
Do you want to go over
yeah.
the audio visuals
I mean,
real
they're
quick?
fine. No problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
The studio who makes this is Studio 9, number 9.
Studio Project. Yes, I believe they did. They did Tenshiro Sanpi. They did Jackara Tomozaki-kun. They did Butareba recently, I believe. They did. Didn't you? Oh wait, what is it? Oh no, this is different. Okay.
They did the Angel
Girls
Next
Beyond the
Door Spoils
Wasteland.
Me Rotten. Yeah, that was a good series.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
look,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ro Cube that's your favorite.
Did they do
And
Rokibyo
Tenshino,
as well? Yeah,
yeah,
they
and then
did do
Tenshino
Rokibyo. Oh
Sanpi.
my
Hey,
god.
hey, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I always keep forgetting that no, they also did Ryo no Oshigoto, right? I believe they did all the Lolly series. No, yeah, they
Oh,
did
is
do all the Lolly series, yeah.
is
So
that why
this
she's
I
a
always forget.
sword
I
stack
always
doctor? Okay.
yeah, I always forget, but project number 9 is I keep blotting it out of my memory. But this studio is the one that has done pretty much all the famous Lolly series again, or modern recent Lolly series, which is again Tenshi no Sanpi, Rokyubu, Ryo no Shigoto, stuff like that. So that's this studio. But yeah. Uh, okay,
Yeah, they're fine.
so
Uh,
mhm,
whatever, I guess. No real problems.
okay.
Uh, yeah, they're fine. Audiovisual soundtrack is fine, I guess. Oh, I will say
Mhm.
the opening is contender for top opening of the season slash year once more. Uh, It's scoped by Eimer, so I'm
Oh, nice,
automatically putting
nice.
it in top 3 no matter what. It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What would
What
you
else?
okay,
It's got a
okay.
7.19 rating on Mall. Is that good or bad?
That's pretty high.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
That's
fine.
decently high, right? It's like
Yeah.
even stuff that we consider for anime of the season, a lot of them often got what maybe at best like a 7.5 or 7.6 on Mal. So it's usually tends to have this like weird cap of like 7.5 ish. I want to say. Am I right on this near Dark?
I
Yeah.
mean 7.5 is pretty high for mild to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually like if you're basically if you're breaching like the 7.5 barrier, you're probably gonna end up like
Winning
8.5 or
here.
9 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be one of those series that's just like
Yeah,
universally
yeah, yeah, yeah.
praised, right? So
Yeah, exactly. So.
So I guess it's a warranted 7.19.
Mhm.
Overall, for what it is, it series is not so bad. I think the biggest gripes I have about it is that uh, major there's only one major arc that was interesting to me. The rest are kind of
Mhm.
whatever. Even in like the latest episodes, I want to say 8 and 9, it's
Mhm.
a it's a big two-parter. It's a big character like development for Takao. I guess I want to say it's like this series of mysteries, and those 2 episodes are kind of her white whale in a sense.
Oh, okay.
Like
I see.
her what way? Well, I guess the one that got away is how I want to put it. Like
Mhm.
even though she's a genius doctor, it's this one mystery is pretty much the one that got away, the one
Mhm.
that she can't solve, and it's pretty obvious why when you watch the episodes. So it's a big character development for her, and I guess that's the second most interesting arc in this series. And this series is 12. This is a 12 or 12 episode thing. So
It's getting a second season or no?
I don't know. But that's like we have 3 episodes left, so if they want to end this off with a bang, those 3 episodes have got to be at least as interesting as like the Omyoji Curse trio of episodes. So I mean, I hope they're good. They aren't out yet. So,
Okay.
but yeah, overall, it's a decent series. It's definitely no House. If you want to call it House Light, sure. It's pretty simple in its mysteries, but overall, it's not bad. All the characters are kind of interesting. They're as what you'd expect. I don't have too
Mhm.
much to say. Like, I really don't have too much to say that's bad about it, other than I think the mysteries are too simple. They don't tickle my brain like
Yeah.
Sakurako-san, and there's no overarching mystery
Hmm.
that's like that's taking place over the entire series. But that might
Hmm.
be due to the format. This is 12 episodes. This isn't 25. This is not a 25 episode anime. It's no. I want to say Paranoia Agent. Is that near? Was that a series that existed? Am I making it up?
That is indeed a series that exists. Yeah.
Was it good?
Most people would consider it good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no Paranoia Agent. It's no. Didn't Sakurako-san also have a like an overall arching thing? I'm pretty sure it did. That's
Yeah,
why I
I
like
think
it
there
so
was like
much.
a it was like a riot, like a serial killer or something, right? Wasn't there?
Yeah, yeah. There's no overarching like, oh, there's a serial killer killing people, and it mentioned that this series has some sort of supernatural like elements, like, oh, there's a curse, and then there's another curse, and it's like, but once you and like, oh, there's this mysterious apparition that appears in this patient's room every day, but then she solves it through science, and it's like, oh, that's really a letdown. I would have really preferred if there was some sort of supernatural element to this kind of stuff, just to make it
Do you
interesting.
kind of like? Oh yeah. Okay. Do you like
Toast
those kind of?
actually deducted points from House when he found out that the fucking zombie hatchet killing episode was not
Oh yeah, that
was
was
technically
super
not
cool.
real.
But even with House, at least it's interesting because he gets a lot of things wrong before he
Oh,
gets it
at the
right.
beginning is yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
there's a
he's
lot
like
of
he
like,
goes through
oh
like these
man, like
deductions. Yeah.
what could this be?
Hmm. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But in this one,
Okay.
she gets it immediately. She solves it immediately, and I also get it immediately
Oh
as a
yeah.
viewer.
Okay. I
So it's
see.
like
Yeah.
the
Eh.
mysteries aren't as impactful as they could be.
Yeah.
But
You're just
overall,
kind of like, okay. Yeah.
like other than like the big three part I keep talking about, like they were
Hmm.
too easy. But that had some twists and turns that made it actually interesting. But yeah, overall, it's fine. It's a pretty decent series. My
Hmm.
only gripes are, that maybe like my only real gripes is that it's too easy for me because I'm smart. Whatever. But yeah, overall, I'd give it a solid 8. Sure, it's a fun watch.
Okay. Pretty
There's
good.
nothing too wrong with it, like other than being piss easy. But yeah, I definitely recommend watching it if you want house light, I guess. If you want a easily digestible medical slash supernatural murder mystery drama, yeah, it's fine. A solid 8 out of 10 overall. It
All
also helps
right.
that there's a lot of cool, memorable voice actors in here. It's like, hey, I know you.
Yeah. 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 Uh, all right. Well, thank you very much. Again, this was, I think, one of the series that we really did want to cover because it was such a unique series, at least out of the season that we had. But I'm glad that Toast did cover it, and I think you gave a really good review of it. So I thank you for that. And again, this is Ameku MD, Doctor Detective, also known as Ameku Takao no Suiri Karute. So
I really
this
hope the
is the
last 3 episodes are really good because this is a decent series.
Yeah. So this is a Project Number 9 series again. Originally a novel, written by an actual practicing doctor who has done other works as well, written other works as well, turned into manga, adapted into anime. If you like something
You mean a light
along
novel? A light novel.
yeah, 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 it is kind of like a novel, but I think they actually made it into like a more full novel again, something like a Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, or something like again like a Hyoka or a Kutenbu kind of series, where it's like a full-fledged novel and it's not just like one of those thinner, just kind of isekai or whatever kind of stuff. So this is again, if you like a House MD kind of vibe series, please do check this out.